all comes down to this between Astralis and NiP in the semi-finals. We're heading to Cobblestone, a map that NiP will be heavy favorites to pick up. They have pretty solid stats on this map. They recently got wrecked off Optic, I think 16-3, but other than that, they've been looking pretty solid.
Yeah, so it seems like it's not over until it's over. And Astralis, Dupree actually was in the green room like earlier, and he said, you know, we're actually super sick of Cobble. You know, we worked on it a lot, so potentially some practice may have been had that maybe NiP hasn't seen. You know, maybe there's some new stuff that Astralis have in store for them. And yeah, I mean, you know, NiP's just, they've got a couple of these takes, you know, that they only started to make after they had the addition of Threat, right? That B take from A, which they could use as a fake. That works so well, but then everybody started adopting it, right? And it became common knowledge almost what was about to happen based on where the smokes were cascading over, how they bounced, right? Obvious tells. Now, it works so well because of the fact that you can fake it and go A so easily, but at the same time, there's a lot of tells that NiP have, and they're studied so much that it might count against them.
That's certainly true. Another way of keeping on board with all the stats, the figures, and I feel like I'm like channeling actually into Alex Machine Richardson right now, is the Score eSports. You can pick it up on the App Store. It gives you all the details you need to know. Keep up to date with a bunch of different esports across the globe. Certainly worthwhile picking up.
What other esports are there?
I don't actually know.
Name one.
There aren't any other, mate.
I mean,
it's all about Counter-Strike. I know plenty, but I'm not going to say that because this is about Counter-Strike today. No
I haven't heard of any other esports, to be honest.
But speaking of which, Astralis, NiP, they've had a chance to get themselves a bit settled, as you can see there. Cash was 16-12, Overpass 16-10. The map's going the way, as you'd expect. NiP taking Cash, Astralis Overpass, and now Cobblestone with the knife round commencing. I wouldn't necessarily say the knife round of Cobblestone is the most important in the game. I think both teams can yield a lot of results, both sides.
I think if you're superstitious, maybe like, you know, you win the knife round, you feel really good, you get the side you want. I mean, there's a certain like small mental advantage maybe going into it, but nothing that should matter at all to teams of this caliber, right? Like the fact that you get the start on the side you want to, well, sometimes you're not going to be able to, and you still have to win, right? And you know, who better to put to the test in that situation than two of the top teams in the world? So ultimately, you play both sides, and there's not a single score line that you can't come back from. There's one thing we know about this game, right? The only thing that bleeds over is the economy. When you start fresh, anybody can win the round. We saw a full save being won by Astralis in the second half of that map.
You took the words right out of my mouth there, Londis, because we did see a bunch of eco rounds go the way of the team you wouldn't necessarily expect. NiP got a bunch of them, Astralis as well. We saw on Cash, just when it looked like Astralis were going to bow out, they suddenly come back. Then NiP, who were 9-2 behind at one point, an Overpass, they end up losing at 16-10, but they bridged that gap. They very nearly got themselves back in. I think it was 12-10 at one point. So completely agreed. This game is never over until a 16 round hits. So Cobblestone, third map, all decisive. Winner of this progresses through to face Immortals in the grand finals. NIP, the last Swedish team remaining against the Danes of Astralis, who have definitely got a couple of demons to try and contend with. We are in the semi-finals of a tournament after all.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what makes this storyline so good, so tantalizing. And the first frag of the round, who's it going to go to? Device is the man to take it, and that's the only man at A to defend. NiP now are actually looking in the face of a rotate. Look how aggressive GetRight is getting off of this. Someone could have just came out and peeked him right away, and there's Dupree, the last man over. But look, because GetRight got that info, he's actually reeling back the rotates. So much, oh my god.
Just waiting for the right time to strike. He heard the player backing away and sprung on him. And yeah, GetRight with that high progression, but I think it's a worthwhile risk. I feel like Astralis would have came out the woodwork if they're going to go for A, so almost calling their bluff. Freiburg from the doorway has a HE, which he has just thrown across, doesn't really do that much damage. Now the crossfire's in motion, GetRight with a beautiful one-tap, and a second as well, and he's going to be looking for more. He's not able to get it. Next up is Freiburg, but he gets picked off and now down to a 1v1. It's all on Exist. The Tech 9 should trump over the USP, you'd assume, but Exist has the higher ground, lands the headshot. NIP will take the first round.
Wow, after so many on-the-fly adjustments being made, sick individual positioning on both sides, NIP actually pick it up. A clutch on a pistol. A kill and a clutch on a pistol has to be the most important kill of any map. And it's NIP to convert it. That's an enormous way to start this game.
That pistol just highlights how close these teams are in skill as well, right down to the wire.
Yeah.
Astralis get the first kill. You're thinking, all right, could this be it? Could the floodgates open? No, they can't. But Dupree is doing so much damage. The HE underarmed. Trying to skim across the victory. Freiburg HE is looking so good now for NIP. It started poorly with the damage all going the way from Astralis, but now Zinix, the last player, good for one, no more. NIP 2-0.
Yep, 2-0. And geez, you've just got to write it off though mentally. You've just got to move forward. And Astralis now are just going to be spending a little bit of money, right? They didn't get the plant that they wanted, which is a huge factor in your buying habits in the second and third round. Now, because they didn't, they have decided to just Glock save here, try to get a plant. Entirely possible, but the thing is that the site, like for example A, the bomb plant zone is so far from the choke points. Very difficult to get across without having opposition shoot you along the way. And it looks like they do want to take their talents this way.
That really works for and against the CTs, because of course on retakes it can be such a pain in the backside alongside trying to aggress on the sites in the first place. Vast areas to maneuver across as well for rotates. Cobblestone, one of the biggest maps in the pool. Get right down with a Mag 7. Astralis originally thinking about maybe pulling the trigger on A, decide better of that choice.
Many pairs of feet can be heard here.
Yeah, that's why Get Right's pushing it. He realizes this is very likely going to be a B push, exists, lands the grenade, and then the damage afterwards with the FAMAS. He's picking off kills left, right, and center along with Pit. It's not necessarily the best of positions to be using the Mag 7. It's not really known for its long-range capabilities. Hence, the USP, the sidearm being brought out from Get Right. Doesn't know who the last player is. Now he is alerted to his presence. Good guy Freiburg has Get Right's back.
And just to recap there on these previous 2 rounds, 8 players saved from NIP. Great amount of money. I think a couple of them funneled into that Mag 7. And it's Get Right to hold on to. Another power that you have on CT side of Cobble, as few as they are, is to be able to use kind of these ragtag guns in drop or under broken wall and still have a lot of success, even when you have the money to buy whatever you want. And that can save you money for the future, also give you a nice reward bonus to work off of when you get those kills. And Pit is going to be the one opping along B.
Astralis had the option of going for maybe a downgraded Galil or Tech 9 for utility, but deciding on firepower over everything else. So likely going to be coming down to the entry frags if Astralis want to get anything done in round 4. Pit with the AWP. Mag 7 still in the hands of Get Right, of course, from the previous one. A long, looking like it could be contested from Forest, who's up in mid. He's going to be peeking across, does spot a player in mid. Not able to get it, and now he's going to get aggressed on from danger. Nice frag, and he's still very healthy, so a decent pickup from the Ninjas. Dupree's managed to scurry his way in, but he gets picked off from Freiburg.
That was actually such a nuanced play from Forrest, though. But to not get too anxious and fall back quickly, he would have got caught on the rotate. Now he comes away with his life and extra frag, and it's 5v3.
And this is where the lack of utility is really going to sting for Astralis. There's no way of really just butchering out onto a site.
Absolutely.
Well placed, incendiary, Pit will do the rest.
And this set piece starts to fall apart. Get Right on the flank, however, not getting that frag and causing Astralis to realize that all their plans have been foiled. They've got to go back and save, rethink their strategies, and come up with something new.
NIP will take a 4th round. Astralis looking to save the 2 AKs. Looks like they should be able to do so unless Device gets his head plucked from his shoulders.
Similarly to Overpass, that forward A control is typically something that you can earn for yourself quite easily on Terrorist side. CTs have advantages pushing up, but will likely fall back later into the round. But Astralis just fell short. Pretty much fell on their faces as Forrest was able to get that kill, stay alive. If NIP can get away with frags like that, Astralis will not be able to show any more progress in this half. So that's going to be their first battle. At the very minimum, turning forward A control.
Of course, for Astralis as well, there is no easy option. It's not a map where NIP will struggle a lot on their T side. They're still a very strong T side on Cobblestone.
Yeah, that's what we think about, right? When we think about why they're good at the map.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's not a case of Astralis like, don't worry, boys, you know, just get 5 or 6 rounds, we should be gold. No, they're going to need to get a lot more than that, you have to feel. And so far, NIP have given nothing away whatsoever. I say that. Forrest misses out on a frag. One of the 2 AKs that were saved in round 4 have came to fruition.
Ooh, this extra player. They're not even going to clear him. Oh, wow. Nice frag, though. Jeez.
Eagle work on point. Device on 1 health, however. Just under a minute of game time remaining in this round. Astralis looking to stamp down their authority onto the A side. 2 players here from NIP, one of which is Freiburg up on the side. 2 kills come at his hands. And now, suddenly, it goes from a 1-man advantage to Astralis to a 1-man advantage to NIP.
Oh, Kirby has no armor. He's got to take a headshot fight, and he knows it. But we'll have this door to walk by, and 2 more opponents to kill in a crossfire. Not a fun situation to be in. 18 seconds remain. They're getting close.
You can see why this crossfire is so deadly.
Yeah.
They couldn't even go for the avenging frag, knowing that there was this crazy meat grinder in effect. And I also love that NIP kept the murder hole vent up. It's almost like a safety net. Kirby, if it's down, he could have tried to get around the back of balcony and then come from a different angle, but the fact it was still up forced him into this bottleneck.
That's a very salient point. And also, I mean, if they continue to do that, the knowledge that as a CT rotating into A, right, it's so common to go through there. It's not, you know, it's not going to catch anyone off guard, right, to bust that vent open as a CT. But if a terrorist does that, that tells you so much. Yeah. So you have a lot of value in keeping that.
Seems like such a small thing to mention, but for Astralis, if Kirby can get up on balcony, then who knows? You know, maybe then that crossfire ceases to be a problem, the bomb gets planted, everything could have been different. That's all in the past, though. Astralis now face off against a 5-0 deficit. Again, back to the AKs. Last time around was easy for NIP. Held off Nid. That was pretty much all she wrote. Astralis have had no real potency across the map.
Oh, wow. 3 players committed over towards A. They're kind of far away. This does leave B a lot less secure, and NIP are anticipating a default towards A at the very minimum, so might get caught off guard. Could be a good set piece here to hit B.
It couldn't see a single thing, but the incendiary buys him time. Knows that he's not going to get charged down. Nice frag, and this is where the staircase could really help the counter-terrorists. He goes back in maybe 1 too many times, but it's Forrest and Freiburg with the spray on point to keep the site from being aggressed on.
Absolutely shut down, and we've got a pause called because look at that. The best opportunity in a 5v5. Long B control, tons of HP. And the flank coming out in the time that it did gave NIP a lot of confidence, but maybe a lack of decisiveness was the reason that Astralis weren't able to get out early enough. You know, they traded pit 1 for 1. They got the opening kill on drop. That's a round that should have gone their way, or at least come down to a clutch at the very worst instead. NIP looked like they had full control of the situation and had the rotates come out early enough, even though they were committed to lower A. That's a long distance. That's a trek to the other side of the map.
I feel like Astralis needs a lot more efficiency when it comes to drop zone. It's such a huge integral part of Cobblestone, and we really haven't seen them utilize that just yet. They've been fended off every time they've gone down.
Yeah, I mean, that round they did get the opening frag. I think it was at drop, but that's the thing, right? You get that kill, and you should have free reign over the site, and for some reason weren't able to play its advantages, or the knowledge that you get for it, or the knowledge that you have of the fact that you took down the drop player in the first place.
Get through drop, it allows you to go through the window around the back of connector, also opens up the push onto the concrete slab where the tree is. But if you put that in conjunction with a B long push, there's so many angles the CTs have to watch out for.
Yeah.
And combined with smokes and flashes, like that's how a lot of teams get a lot of rounds, especially NIP, for example, on their T side of Cobblestone. So Astralis just, I think you actually hit the nail on the head. The key word is indecision. They just haven't shown a capability to push out together as a united force. It's been kind of conga lining their way to death.
Yeah, it can be too much reliance on entries, right? You get to a point that you're a little bit worried that your teammate, you lose faith, right, in your teammate sometimes when the rifle rounds don't go your way. whether for however long you've been playing, right? When you aren't playing sharp, that's when you lose faith. And if you see that a team is moving more slowly than they need to be, there's absolutely no reason for them to delay any longer. It's obvious what site they're going to. Then they need to have the kind of goal to take it and hope that their teammate is going to be there right beside them to either get the entry for them or trade the frag immediately.
Astralis into this round after the pause, going to have no assault rifles to play with. It is going to be a half buy, which will yield them an AK buy in the next round. Of course, full round loss bonus is in effect. And a more aggressive looking round coming up. Karrigan, first player in with his Tech 9, hiding behind the box. This time, it will not have anybody on the staircase, on the platform. Yet right now, he'll be taking the opportunity with the flashbangs to charge on up, but he got completely wrecked by that flash himself, couldn't see a single thing. Here comes the spray again from Freiburg. He's top fragging for his team, 2 more kills put into his tally. And that was it, Nix.
Wow.
I was going to say, maybe he can finish off the weekend Freiburg. Absolutely not.
No, another round. I mean, that time, you know, it's a much lower buy, so it's a little bit more forgivable to not maybe get the plan, convert the round, get more kills, but NIP can just forfeiting the map control and having no trouble cleaning up afterwards. And now they're up to the 7-0. Man, that is such a deep hole for Astralis. And I don't mean to be petty, but it's got to be weighing on their mind that, you know, you go on Twitter afterwards and you just get wrecked by people saying, you know, it's semi-final, you lose again, right? That is a serious consideration, I'm sure. Well, maybe not those people specifically, but even the thought of that happening again to yourself, right?
Oh, Forrest missing the shot. To be fair, he was a dead man anyway. He would have got avenging fragged on. I'm absolutely certain of that. It's a 2-man death squad. Dupree, 2 beautiful entries. Single-handedly giving Astralis a great opportunity to finally get on the scoreboard to break into Cobblestone. But we did hear with the interview with Smix on the stage that they even said it's not necessarily about playing NIP, it's about playing the semi-finals. That came from the mouth of Astralis themselves. Yeah. They know that there's a lot of naysayers out there that just didn't give them a chance in this match purely off the basis of it being a semi-finals.
Yeah, and you know, I would never pit it to that being the only reason that they lost if they did, right?
Oh, absolutely not.
Completely apt team, right? It's not like
NIP have been playing their part in this story as well. They've been performing very well. But this round, at least, would be a catastrophe if Astralis don't convert this. Oh, come on, Astralis, not like this. Okay, there we go, Karrigan. We'll be stopping the comeback before it was even possible.
And there it is, super sick round by Dupree. Forward A control taken. Not only that, profited from, right? Getting those kills early on, instead of just putting NIP back, is the reason that they were able to take it, and so decisively. So it might not stave off the double save that might come of NIP converting this following round, but they will have at least a little bit more money. So if they do have to save, we'll maybe have the op option a little bit earlier. But this is where the economy gets very tricky.
No orbs in play, full assault rifles, full M4s for NIP, full AKs for Astralis. On a knife edge, this map for Astralis, you have to feel. They need results, and they need them quickly. Device will provide them some foundations to build off. Kirby, in the meanwhile, is getting so much real estate.
Oh, that's a free frag as well. No, actually walks right by.
Could actually be worse for NIP with him walking by, but he actually will give his position away as Dupree lands their headshot. There is Kirby. Are they going to expect another player down here in mid? Probably not. So Freiburg could very well return the favor. The hunter may very well become the hunted.
Oh, this is such a sick rotate, though, into B. There's no way for them to escort the bomb safely. Decided to use Kirby as a way to make an on-the-fly adjustment to split to the other site. Now B, one of the hardest sites in the entire map pool to have to retake on B site Cobble.
There's so many positions that you have to be wary of, and he's not going to expect Device here, but Freiburg still connects. He's still on 100 health.
Utility, though, Zipix.
Flash and smoke, but there is an incendiary which has just been thrown out towards the platform. A HE and a flash.
Oh, the bomb isn't planted in a way that would maybe make you assume that it's long B, and so...
The problem for Zipix is it's planted in a position where you could just hold on to the defuse and get it done.
Yeah. You know, the thing is, right, that favors him and it doesn't, because it favors him in the sense that, okay, they assume he's maybe chicken coop, so I'm not safe to stick it, right? So at the very least, he could potentially catch someone in the side of the head, make it a 1v1, and then swing wide, but fails on the first frag, and yeah, was out of position to actually defend the plant if it were to be stuck. So a couple of outs Nipped had on that round, and then the 2v2, they win it because such a crucial opportunity that Astralis have not maybe overlooked, but misplayed and lost.
I feel like the key moment of that round, I think it was DeVice and drop against Freiburg, where Freiburg just comes out in the 2v2 and makes it the 2v1. That is a crucial kill.
Yeah.
Going against Astralis, and now, again, we talk about having to get the consecutive rounds. They've not managed to do it. The auto sniper rat-a-tat-tatting its way to a kill, make it 2. Yeah, right, steals that from underneath Pit. Pit's a bit susceptible to getting dinked, and DeVice is the player to supply it. Missing out on so many opportunities. Forest from behind. Looking good for maybe a second kill. Gets picked off. Now it's on Freiburg. He's been performing so well over the course of this best of 3. Bomb will get planted with just shy of a minute remaining.
Wow, super nice help from DeVice there at Long B.
Freiburg currently has 13 kills. He's by far and away top fragging, but he's not going to get a 14th in this round.
Wow, and off the back of a half buy with Pit picking up the auto sniper and sitting in chicken coop, one of the most favorable spots versus a Long B rush. No Molotov to flush him out either. They still managed to get the kill. I mean, DeVice hitting that headshot, critically important. He obviously whiffed a couple of shots, but either way, you know, mistakes will be made. Astralis, though, capitalizing and put a second round on the board. Could this be a start to a streak as NIP are on a bad buy and will have to save if they lose this one as well? That question will be answered in a few moments.
Opportunity comes knocking again for Astralis as a result of the auto sniper buy not working. As you mentioned, Launders, that's put them into a poor buy.
Get right.
In effect, Get Right again on the lurk. He's going to be coming around the back, but Zipnex, he read the script. He knew what was coming up against Get Right, though. You know these cheeky plays are always a possibility. DeVice on platform. Carrigan silences Pit. Won't be playing any further part of round 11. Forest now with the M4. As exists just behind him. The players of Astralis still haven't managed to get through onto the site until now, as the snowstorm descends onto Exist, heavily flashed up. Bomb planted behind the statue, the only place that we're safe for Astralis in this 2-on-3. And Forrest has gone down. This makes it so bad for Exist, but he's got the first one. We've seen him clutch from similar positions before. Second frag comes down, and Zipnex is on such low health. He's got a kid as well, Exist. If he just tickles the bomb, this could force out Zipnex. This could very well be the clutch. And, oh, he doesn't get it!
Gets the frag!
No!
Oh my god, the 1v1 on such low HP. He had to hit his first bullet and he made it happen. Exist came so close.
Well played, Zipnex, but Exist is gonna be gutted.
That is harsh. Oh my, Astralis have been, you know, hugely clutch, and honestly are doing such a great job of working that long B platform over and over again, taking their time, but making aggressive plays to try to get the bomb down, helping their teammates cross, have really tethered off each other well. And so I think have found a bit of sunshine in the overcast of the amount of rounds that NIP have won versus them.
See the importance of that clutch as well. Now NIP are into an eco. Albeit, to be honest, even if the clutch didn't come in, they'd have still been struggling for a buy in this round with 4 players taken out. Mac 10 for Dupree, reading the economic situation perfectly. Just a P250 and a flashbang for the Ninjas. And stacking A. So this B site ripe for the taking. Going to be planted on momentarily. And a comfortable round for Astralis. A much needed round.
Yeah, finally a round where they can just build their economy, relax a little bit, try to funnel as many kills as they can into this Mac 10. There's one. Again, because the kill bonus is so much higher, but if they isn't confused, Dupree, it goes down.
There we have it. DeVice finalizes for Astralis. Here comes the buy. NIP will have enough for a full buy. Could see if a mass come up.
Really lost an unfortunate round that has put Astralis back on their feet. And now are just one away from having to save again. Astralis have the opportunity to buy, save, buy, save. or to get NIP to have to commit to one or make that hard decision. Get right back on this Mag 7. Now, they did start this game in a place with not the greatest economy and managed to put a string together, but here's Astralis to start off with long B control. Device already out.
Yeah, right, had the choice between FAMAS, maybe 5-7. We went for the Mag 7, makes a lot of sense, especially in the position that he plays it in. Device again with the opening pick. Something they sorely lacked on Cash was entries. And Device has gone a long way of picking them up. And there's the aforementioned Mag 7 doing work on B long.
I think GetRight was trying to find a gun there. And gets traded actually Dupree from drop. Oh, B control. B is very unfortified at this moment. He exists in a precarious spot. He can get mollied out as soon as he's spotted. Frag doesn't come out either, so he has no point of escape.
The Forest has alleviated some pressure from drop zone. Existed damage before falling. Freiburg again from the rock. Forest joining alongside him. His movement out to window. The kill has landed, but look at the health of Astralis. It's far from healthy. Freiburg shifting to his left.
Wow.
Astralis with a 5th. That is now 4 rounds in a row.
Wow, they're looking fired up and for good reason, are really having good control in these 3v3s. Making that NIP do what they want, right? They're hitting the ball to the other side of the court, and NIP have to run and fetch it. That's exactly how they want to keep them.
Yeah, Astralis, they have to dictate the pace right now.
Yeah.
Right, you have to try and force Nip into bad positions to right click. Ouch. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference, considering that Nip into pretty much deco with a Kevlar behind him. Who knows, maybe that could be the determining factor. Device has been tagged a couple of times, but their body shots. Dupree with 2 kills with the Mac 10, money in the bank. Yep, right with another kill. 2 on 3, and with Device and Kirby both quite low, and Forest getting round the back. This could be an absolute nightmare for Astralis. Just as it looked like they were starting to make some ground, GetRight attempts a close range execution, but instead he is going to fall.
Oh, it certainly got quite close in that moment. Certainly Forest goes down, and he does. And Astralis are 1 away from having the closest half possible after starting up in some of the worst, with some of the worst score lines we've ever seen. That's what was it?
7-0.
8-1, yeah, 7-1.
It was 7-0, 7-1, 8-1.
Wow.
So Nip were in such a commanding lead, and then Astralis with 5 rounds. We could have a repeat halftime scoreline of Cash. It was 8-7 to Nip on their T side. Just Forest by his lonesome, playing the aggressive long hold with the orb. The rest of the team over on B.
Quite a testament to both teams to see them take an advantage and run away with it. Pretty much both halves on each map, and a peek from Forest results in nothing except for his position being compromised, and he's got to rotate back while also worry about the rotate in.
It's a race. Freiburg trips up Kirby. Dupree answers back as this entire half has gone back and forth, back and forth. Astralis is starting to make some ground. They're making that deficit wider and wider. NIP trying to bridge. Is it going to be a bridge too far though? Exist. Sendry to his name. Molotov for Pit. I think Pit just caught a glimpse of Device, but he's going to make that smoke work in his advantage. Bomb has been planted in amongst all the action, by the way, and it's ticking down. Exist with a beautiful frag. 2-on-2 now. You'd expect Device and Zipnix to have this, especially considering the health bars for NIP. The spray through lands onto Device, but Zipnix will stop the defuse.
And another 1v1 won by Astralis. 7 rounds in this half after starting off 8-1, and after losing 7 rounds in a row. And it's incredible to see these teams just taking advantage, starting with maybe just a pistol, and having so much momentum off it that they're able to string together multiple rifle rounds in a row and make it seem like hope is lost to the other team, and then have the other team come right back. It's unbelievable, really. It seems like whoever wins the pistol is just afforded a huge string of rounds, no matter what.
So the movers on the first half of Cobblestone, Freiburg, 17 frags. Exist 15, and then for Astralis, Dupree with 14. So pretty close, but Nip certainly have the fragging going their way, as would be highlighted with the 8-7 score. And to be fair, out of the rounds, NiP were getting a lot more one-sided rounds at the start of this game. So it could have been a whole different ball game, barring a couple of key moments that Astralis managed to pull back for themselves. Anyway, that's enough about the first half. The second half is about to get underway. Astralis now on the CT side, and for the final time today, we will see NiP and Astralis into a pistol.
Close as it gets. This is as close as it gets. So much emphasis on the pistol here. We saw the first half pistol result in a 1v1 by Exist. Incredibly important round.
Forest taking no prisoners, right out with a Glock. Free spots at least a couple players. Definitely heard footsteps on top of that. But he's able to scamper away, eating no damage. Carrigan, meanwhile, has been picked up from Get Right. Pretty integral kill, but Kirby's position, Londis, this could be the difference maker.
Yeah, absolutely. Now again, after having a man advantage, it's, I think, NIP stat to say they've won at least 80% are converted, and here's Kirby to take a fight now. Doesn't get the headshot, actually finds it afterwards and looks for a third, can't do it, falls off, but dies. 3v3, who does this favor?
Still massive 2 frags. Considering that NiP got the first kill, it now brings us back to equality. 3 apiece, all players healthy as well. On terms of hit points, Device lands the headshot onto Exist. It's looking good for Astralis all of a sudden. Forest looking to break out with Pit. Spots a player behind the rock, but it's Dupree that will cancel Pit's life. Forest still with his block gets destroyed from Device.
Oh my god.
And I've got to say, I think Kirby's 2 kills, I mean, that was it.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 kills that made it possible.
He was in the best position to get a frag if someone were to lurk up the drop. To see 3 players is kind of his worst nightmare, and to take down 2 of them is just the best that he could have asked for. I mean, he almost even landed that third. Almost actually escaped, which is the most ridiculous part.
Yeah.
But what are we witnessing right now? Is this Astralis breaking the curse? Could they actually come back? They just won the most important pistol round in this series, right? The other 2 maps are done and over.
Yeah, it all comes down to this, but again, I would just lean with NIP. Their T half strats are pretty solid. Again, it's always that case of the CT's economy, can it hold up under the scrutiny of the aggression?
Astralis not looking for any information quite yet, and NiP have their hands on 2 smokes. These have to be thrown from long, so eventually we'll have to get frisky, and it looks like it's going to be easy for them. No one to test them or spot it, so they can take some time off this clock to make sure that they don't get killed in the process. And have the opportunity to execute. The long smoke is bad. And Dupree's actually playing on the corner of this. Could this be smart madness or genius? I wonder.
Maybe a bit of both.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just have to see whether he's successful or not. And I'll edge with one or the other. But in fairness, that smoke is going to clear before NiP even push. So maybe we don't need an answer. Dupree's already backed away. 35 seconds, this is where the P90 is so strong. 2 kills and heavy damage inflicted on Forest. Forest with the Tech 9 frag, Pit the next to fall. Forest tries to get up in the grill of Kirby, but instead he will die. And now Exist gets picked off in smoke. Nice hold from Astralis.
Yeah. And that was a big attempt, right? NIP could have made the decision to save there. Instead, they went head armor Tech 9. They were really investing in that to try to win and couldn't pull it off. Now, have less than 2K on most of their players for us. The only man to pick up a frag in that round, I think. Trading Dupree out, who did, 250 to 300 damage. Certainly his part and more. Astralis are getting into their comfort zone. If there was a good formula for success right now, it would start with these ingredients.
Full on eco for NiP, full blocks, nothing else. Not even a grenade to speak of. So one of the easiest rounds of this entire series, you would assume, for Astralis.
I'm so interested to see how the first rifle round goes.
Yeah, that is going to tell us quite a lot, I actually feel.
My first Astralis will be the first to double digits, but in IP, if they're able to win the first rifle round, I mean, they actually didn't even do that much damage on the previous, so might have to do 2 in a row to get Astralis to save. Again, very comfortable for them. They've got a lot to prove. Kings of Cobble in their own right, but Astralis clearly on slouches.
This is where the MP9 can just be absolutely ridiculous. It is cutting through NiP like butter. Good night, NiP. No kills picked up. Not really expecting a great deal with a full-on Glock.
You ever put butter on your nip? Just curious. Is that appropriate? How many viewers do we have?
Brilliant.
Yes. And it's actually a better buy on nip right now. We have apart from the Galil, that's kind of an eyesore. We have 4 AKs, and Astralis have the MP9, the UMP, 3 FAMASes. None of these guns kill that quickly, right? One-shot potential in the hands of NIP. And it's pretty much only the resources that separates these two teams. But it's never fun to rebuy, and it's never really that incentivized to rebuy on CT when you have had such great success versus the ecos.
Yeah. And if Astralis play the weapons to their core strengths, which for an MP9 is close range against Kevlar, then it may not even end up mattering. It's all dependent on how Kirby approaches this. So you can see him holding a super close angle alongside Karrigan. UMP is still always a bit of a nightmare to play against. It's got high armor pen, very solid in the right hands. But again, this flirtatious Counter-Strike continues with neither team wanting to fully commit. Get Right's got a bit of info in drop. This is something we didn't see Astralis do a great deal of times, or at least not get too much success from. Pop flash for Karrigan. Gonna find nothing on his travels. Oh, Pitt could have this free kill. He gets dinked and finished off from dupreeh, who had no right to take that kill. UMP versus AK, and the UMP comes out ahead. 30 seconds. NIP have to bounce back in a strong manner in this rifle round. It's the FAMASes that are coming good for Astralis. Forest in a 1-on-5. There's players all over the board as far as he's concerned. He's gone for 2, 25 health left, nearly a third. Nice try. A for effort, but Astralis will take the round nonetheless.
Wow, a small consolation prize in the face of NIP losing duel after duel. Stalwart defense from Astralis in a round where they could afford to lose 2 or 3 buys. No problem. You know, they were almost willing to just give up that round completely, and NIP made it look like, you know, they had no chance. Another save out for NIP, and Astralis are taking a lead. Could this be it?
Oh, for NIP, it doesn't get much easier. Looking at the money that Astralis have, 3 players over $7,000, which is supposed to be more after this round. So easy rebuys in. Expect an AWP or 2 in the hands of Astralis going forward. Here comes the mixed bag of weaponry, charging down, looking to go for the jugular are the ninjas. The band-aid has been applied from Astralis. Kirby, M4 frag, and a second as well. Get Right's trying to tap his way. He's dancing back and forth, but he is going to end up being put down alongside Exist.
Oh, this is a dramatic lead. I mean, there's no way to minimize the impact that Astralis have had so far. At this point, NIP are going to have to battle back, but not only win 1 round, they have to go against the economy of Astralis. 10K in the hands of dupreeh. Close to 5 for everyone else. And NIP are buying down to 0 on some of their players.
Yeah.
Not only that, but they haven't won a round yet on T-side. We don't know that they can even do it. And
this after
How is this possible?
This is after us thinking, well, NIP's T-side, man, like, it's pretty solid, right? They're pretty damn good when it comes to it. So Astralis, there's no reason for dupreeh to even upgrade his weapon. He can easily just fall back on an M4 if things go right here.
Oh, he can continue to smurf.
Absolutely. Grenade through, doesn't really do any damage. Negligible to Pitt. Picked off again from dupreeh's UMP. We've seen that before. Freiburg's the next to fall. Double crossfire. They weren't expecting that. They walked straight into the trap. NIP again go 2 players behind in a rifle round. And this is very reminiscent of the last time when they conceded the first kills. They just went all out on B instantly. Forrest is getting so much info, but he's going to get picked off from Karrigan. The barrel of the gun likely sticking around the corner, allowing Karrigan to go for the pre-fire. Exist, will fall, get right. Beautiful first frag. Looking for a second, and Zipnex is going to pick him off through the chicken coop.
Wow.
13-8, Nips woes on their T side continue, and here we go. I was about to ask, will we see a pause? Yes, we will.
We will, okay. Yes, I mean, they've got to dig deep here. They've got very few options that have come close to working. This is a game that started. This was 8-2, and Nip haven't won a round in this half. I mean, it seemed like it was over for Astralis. The mental fortitude on this team. to, in the most pressured situation, probably their most pressured one so far with Kirby, or just in any recent time.
I'm going to go one better, Wonders. It was 8-2. It was also 8-1. This is now 12 consecutive rounds to Astralis.
Wow.
They got the last 6 in the first half. They picked up the first 6 in this half.
Unbelievable.
It's hard to really let that digest.
And just as we were talking about how Astralis in the first half had difficulty getting forward A control, right, at the very minimum, NiP are falling short in the exact same ways. You know, these teams may be more similar than it might seem, and it's actually favoring Astralis in this moment.
NIP have the funds to buy, although mid 3,000s are both Freiburg and Forest. 3.7k for Get Right. They may want to force, they may go for some kind of a half-buy scenario, but they are getting dangerously close to being beaten now. 13-8 could quickly turn into 16-8, so they are going to go for the force. 2 Galils, AK Tech 9, and Pitt still hasn't decided.
There gets to be a point, Vince, right, where you can save and try to have as much money as you want, but when you've had so many chances, it's kind of like, is money the problem, right?
Yeah.
You know, is it something else? And so to try to hemorrhage to bleeding at this point with a half or lesser buy, just to stave off being one away from match point and that pressure, that toll that it takes on you mentally, I think justifies, you know, having a Tech 9 and going for some extra utility, not have the best weaponry overall, because it seems like NiP, and yeah, they definitely need you, have just such an insanely big hurdle to overcome. Pause time is done, and NiP are out. This is it. This is going to be one of their last opportunities. Most likely the last one they'll see before match point, at least.
12 rounds in a row to Astralis. NIP, after the pause, how are they going to approach this round? I thought maybe with Tech 9 we may see just an all-out brawl, an all-out rush. That's not going to happen. Karrigan using the alcove, the orb, smoking and flashing his way to safety. Molly connects in drop zone. Already quite a bit of utility has been used from NIP, but they haven't got anything really for their troubles, with the exception of Karrigan being dropped to 8, which they themselves don't even know.
2 players from NiP, I'm not sure if they made noise, have started to work towards A. Cleared it out a little bit, but haven't found a frag, and I think that was the idea, to try to stir a push from the other side of the map, but once that fails, what's the backup plan, right?
Well, there's the issue. The backup plan is a molly and a smoke.
Right.
That's not a lot to play with 55 seconds. They've just used the molly into alcove, but they're not even going to push it, so it seems like NIP are going to utilize everything they have and just hope for the best. And Device is there, jumps up. He's going to get punished, but Zipnix has the backs of Astralis. 35 seconds on the timer. Freiburg with a crucial kill. Can he go one better? Pitt's there onto Zipnix. This is much better. And a second kill as well for Pitt. Beautiful work. Dupree, 1 on 3. The NiP magic may be returning after the pause.
This is when you start sweating. Dupree in the 1v3. Oh, could throw a wrench in the plans, but no. 3 players from NiP survive, exist as the final frag. And NIP are 1 away from double digits. 4-round deficit now. And Astralis have shown a chink in the armor. Power of the pause, potentially.
That's the thing, maybe let Astralis think about it a little bit. We're in the semis, we're a couple of steps away from the finish line. Is this where they start to get in their own minds? The economy is still in a position where Astralis can buy in the next round regardless of what happens here. So NIP are going to have to win another couple in a row to break the economy, get some free rounds.
But what is the way? What allowed them to win that round? How do they unlock that now with even better weaponry, utility? What were they missing? And there's Forrest to get an opening frag. I mean, that is a good way to start. Taking down the Oppa device, making it change hands, putting Astralis on the back foot, and there's Freiburg with a fierce headshot to make it up 5. What is going on? 2 players left from Astralis. How did this happen? How has this changed so dramatically in just the course of 3 minutes?
It was all off Astralis peeking. They peeked 1 by 1. Forrest got the first kill off a peek of the orb. Kirby went up, dropped, got picked off. And from there on in, it's just too much of a body blow to reclaim your place in the round for Astralis. Zipnix is going to try and battle his way to the bitter end. I said before, they can buy next round, whatever happens here.
Wow. Now Astralis really put to the test here. Just lost a whole bunch of duels. Literally never happened in the beginning of this half. 4 alive from NIP on that round. Who is this team? Who are these guys? That's 7 total in the last 2 rounds. Meaning they even have an out now if they're to lose. Kirby's gone right back to the UMP. Astralis back to the drawing board. Bot down to 0 at this moment. NIP might even be able to earn themselves a save here.
I'm pretty sure Astralis will not be peaking again anytime soon. Is that cost in the last round? Take nothing away from NIP still converting their chances, but that's something we haven't really seen Astralis go for before. They've been playing passively with crossfires, been playing solid Counter-Strike, you know, meat and potatoes Counter-Strike. They tried something fancy and they got punished. That being said, another buy, UMP. We've already seen Dupree use that before against rifle rounds and do pretty sick work. So Kirby is up to the task.
Pith has afforded a little bit of information there. Yes, the grenade can't be thrown from too far away. Get Right also has peace of mind to drop. Informational advantage now to NIP as they take control of it. Players congregating over towards the site. Astralis weren't punished for pushing that round where NIP used all their resources to get that info, but that just means they might try it again.
Thing is though, for NIP, this is where they typically choked in those 6 rounds that went back to back. They got into these very like-minded positions and then just kind of couldn't do anything with it. Yeah, here we go again. Zipnix is going to get himself the kill. The trades go back and forth. This is going to favor NIP, you have to feel, but Device now, the last line of defense on B. Can he stop any frags from coming to fruition for NIP? At the same time, he has to wait. They do have Dupree, who's making moves round the back of B long. As I say that, Forrest has connected the AWP shot. The rough ask. I think Astralis honestly might just save.
Yeah, I mean, this is, again, one of the hardest sites ever to retake. Dupree in a favorable spot, but off of the bang of that AWP shot, Forrest getting that frag and making it a 3v2, and decided to recede. And just hold for exits, I suppose. I mean, they really don't even have enough money. It should be NIP comfortable with finding these duels going 1-for-1. And, oh, Kirby doesn't even get that frag. Does find it eventually. Is still in good danger, and Get Right gets the frag, so now it's a situation where Astralis don't have all that much money. They save 1 rifle, but only a single player with any type of armor. And they're actually saving. This is now suddenly a game, all of a sudden, after that, what was it, 12 rounds in a row. 3 in a row for NIP. I can't believe what I'm seeing.
Astralis. Pistols alongside Dupree's saved M4. Getting plenty of mid control and presence. Making sure that NIP can't get through onto the likes of Danger. But really, the last 3 rounds have been NIP getting opening picks, but also controlling drop zone. So it hasn't been A that's been the issue. I actually think that NIP haven't gone to A a single time. Correct me if I'm wrong, Londers. I think it's been mainly B where they've been successful.
The only times they've won, yeah, are in these last 3 rounds and a focus on B. Eventually, as you're alluding to, they're going to have to test the waters there because the B defense will get more fortified, right? Players will become more comfortable with the types of angles that they have to deal with on these peaks. And it's going to be important to make them assume that it's not just going to be over and over again.
Well, the 1 assault rifle in the hands of Dupree, spotted momentarily from Pit. Shot a bit preemptively. Did alarm Dupree to his presence, so he just tucks his tail between his legs and runs away. But actually, both teams rotating to B.
Yeah.
All 10 players could very well find themselves in a brawl, a battle to the end.
They've read this tendency to perfection. Actually, drop being focused on first might favor NIP.
Get Rice done this so many times. The flashbang lands on him, but he still gets the spray through onto Carrigan. Couldn't see a single thing in amongst all the action. Kirby the next to fall, and Astralis with 24 seconds. Very well could just be slipping out of the round. Zipnix with a nice P250 headshot. Not going to get seconds, and now it's all on Device. 13 seconds left in Chicken Coop. Bomb going to get planted, unable to get the frag on the retreat, and NIP have done it again. 4 rounds in a row now, but Astralis with a save will have a comfortable bye.
3 players with a combined 70 HP there, all those kills, vastly important. Astralis not sealing them up. Having the good read, the adjustment there to go B was very wise of them. I mean, they called the tendency out of Nip quite clearly, and I think Nip will take heed of that. Noticing there were players at A, and suddenly they were all at B, and they had that read. And the crowd is roaring. We're off to the races, folks. This is a critical rifle round here.
So much hinges on this. Astralis could be back to square one again, and NIP could look to extend the lead. But typically, these last 4 rounds have told us, poke and probe A, rotate to B, execute on B.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Astralis called it out as soon as they got a hint of it. It's a matter of when do NIP feel comfortable in something they could do at A, or risking losing the opening duel at A. But as long as Astralis have that in their pocket, they can focus on their B defenses and feel quite comfortable. Ooh, opening frag to Kirby. Very nice and important frag.
Has been like clockwork as well. Nip will molly, they'll smoke, then Get Right will drop into the zone, as we've just seen again. Now, it's incredibly efficient, but it is predictable, and Astralis are reading it now. This telegraph play is being picked up from Astralis. Is the execution going to be crisp enough? We haven't seen a boost up on Tree yet, and that nearly catches Get Right off guard. Crazy reaction speed, and Carrigan whiffing a few bullets. Get Right with a second headshot onto Zipnix. He should have even got 1 kill from that position, let alone 2. That puts added pressure on Kiabi, who's behind the rock. And to make matters worse, Get Right is still lurking in drop zone, so they can't even be sure and push out onto the site to repel the onslaught. Get Right finally will fall. Oh, Forrest, that's a key shot. He's missed another one. He's just going to haunt them, lands it on the 3rd time, and Exist will finish off Dupree. It's all on Kiabi, the newest addition to Astralis. Can he go massive?
Look at the confidence in his teammate there, Forrest, not showing him ahead and covering the other angle. Look how excited Get Right is for winning that round, and it was all him.
All him.
To come out and get that kill on Tree. Kerrigan had him dead to rights, and Get Right said, don't be so sure. Gets that first frag. Oh, and then gets the second one. This is so important. Every moment in this round. After Kirby gets the opening frag, the 5v4, oh my gosh, it can't be looked past. Astralis saving now, and Nip might actually take a lead once again in this half. Never thought I'd say the words, I'll be honest.
After 12 in a row, yeah, I thought this could very well just be slipping away. Ooh, Kirby, who's been boosted a handful of times, finally gets a bit of reward for his aggression.
Oh, so much information now. B long pushed, and NIP don't have any info at A quite yet. The only thing they have going for them is not making it aware of exactly what site they want to commit to.
This is really nice from Kirby. He gets a kill and drop, goes back down, comes up B long.
Yeah.
So they're going to put a lot of their focus and emphasis up on the boost. They may not check the close angle. This is where the CZ could rip shoulders, rip heads very quickly. Oh, not going to happen this time. But I believe he saw 2 or 3 players pushing around the corner. So he does die, but information gathered. The thing is, though, there's so much time that Nip could just wrap themselves back to A. I'll be in the minds of Astralis. They can't take that information for granted. It's not concrete just yet.
No.
Still utility being expended through into drop zone. Alcove mollied off just to make sure they can focus their attention onto the lower parts of platform. And Zipnix, they line up and he nearly gets a couple of P250 frags. Carrigan now with a 5-7. How much damage can he do before he inevitably dies? The answer is absolutely none. Device, Deagle in hand, 1v2. The bomb is going to get planted in time. Oh, what a shot onto Freiburg! Pit now is going to land the shot onto Device.
And in the 1v1, this is for the finals, folks. This is map 3, and Nip have taken a lead here in Sweden, 14-13. 1 away from map point, and potentially have the ability to secure 2 rounds in a row off this victory. Astralis on the back foot. I don't even know what to say.
How ballsy was that from Pit, though? Because for all he knows, Device is still just stood there with a Deagle looking at the corpse of his teammate.
I think he assumed that the first guy he killed was the guy planting.
Exactly.
That there'd be no way there's 2 people on the site.
He didn't expect a double stack, but Pit still with the big cojones to go for that peak. However, Astralis with another bite. This match may not be over just yet. We thought it would be close. We thought there'd be a lot of twists and turns, and it's definitely delivered on that promise. Standard play from Astralis, a bit more aggressive than we've seen in recent rounds, in danger. Device with the AWP. We saw Pit use it here a couple of times as well when the roles were reversed.
The CT defenses have somewhat calcified, though. Device has found himself a new site to work on. That could be a good adjustment, but Exist gets that kill. Long B now can be taken control of, and Get Right is right back in his comfort zone. Oh, the flash comes out. The Molotov, however, concatenates with it. And
oh, Exist is going to have to drop on 2 players. Is he going to realize the seconds here as well? This is so vital for Astralis to try and hold on for dear life. They lose this, they're going to have a really poor buy-up in the last round. And there's Pit. The execute onto B seems to be working lovely, and Nip are going to take it 15-13.
I can't believe my eyes. I can't believe it. Vince, what are we watching? This is... And there's the NIP chant if you can't hear it. They've got to be so stoked. What a stellar comeback.
Again, the magic of the pause. Was looking dead and buried for the Swedes. Pull the pause, Astralis start to get in their own mind, and there's an auto sniper.
What a good amount of critical thinking and calming yourself down can do, just to mentally reset yourself and maybe put your opponents off kilter. But here we are, Astralis disadvantaged in economy, NIP with a huge lead. Oh, Dupree, however, has something to say about it, gets the first frag. And we've seen this happen before. Kirby was the man to do it last, and they still lost. And I harp on that stat because a team who makes it 5v4 will win that round 70 to 80% of the time. And to give up that conversion is just can't be acceptable.
Thinking of Kirby was so close to landing the frag on to Get Right, but didn't connect the dots and loses his life as a result. Molly out onto stairs just to make sure that Astralis don't have the double angle. Zip next will finish off the weakened Get Right. Carrigan, such an important angle. Zip next now, next up to the plate will deliver a KO to Exist. And Forrest and Freiburg, who've been in these situations so many times in the past, have 35 seconds to make a clutch a reality. Forrest narrowly missing out on the frag. There was also an attempted wraparound from Dupree, who's just gone into drop zone. Decided not to go up B long as they heard the AWP rattle out, and it's definitely possible he'd be turning his attention up there instead. 15 seconds now. The bomb still hasn't been planted.
They're leaving.
They're starting to move away, and that's going to allow Forrest to frag onto Zip. Next 9 seconds, they're going to come right out. Forrest misses the shot, the flash bangs in. Dupree's landed the headshot as well, and finishes off with a body. Freiburg. 2 players to fend off against, both of them are weakened. Coming from separate angles as well, he's just trying to play the time, darting left and right. He's not sure where both players are. He's desperate for some information, and Device has landed the AK frag and keeps Astralis alive.
Oh my god.
For at least 1 round longer.
Oh my god, we're within 1. It's the 30th round of the game. Astralis finally pick one up after an insane comeback from NIP. 8 rounds in a row for them, and then Astralis to pick up the 29th. Now, it's NIP who have enough money to buy Astralis, are not doing so badly themselves. So they've even picked up an AK to support this. Everyone's got the gun they want, and we're into round 30 of the 3rd map of the series.
A fitting way to end an epic best of 3. All down to this. Astralis, will you take us to overtime, or do NIP move through to the grand finals and give themselves a chance to win 2 consecutive Swedish lands? They did it at DreamHack Masters Malmo. Are they going to get a second here at Jönköping?
And at the very minimum, guaranteed a second life in OT. All the pressure on Astralis.
As you mentioned, Alondas, they do have a good buy, so it's not a case of them coming into this round weakened.
Definitely.
M4s, grenades, flashes being exchanged on B platform. Carrigan holding the angle, not entirely sure if any NIP players have managed to get across to the box just yet, but did hear an opportunistic AWP shot.
Oh!
Coming, Forrest through the smoke onto Zipnix! Oh my goodness, that is crazy. Kirby is going to try and come in and make amends, but Pit's already done the damage. Kirby lands the headshot, picked off from behind from Forest. And Get Right's frag could make all the difference. Opening up the round was astronomically huge. Forest may very well secure the frag, misses the shot, that gives Device a chance to get tagged up and finished off. NIP, after losing 12 rounds in a row, will secure their place in the grand finals.
Oh my God, look at this crowd on their feet. What an insane win from NIP to do that to Astralis. What a heartbreaking loss. So valiantly fought. And it looked like NIP had no chance of winning. It's unbelievable for it to come down to that circumstance, the 30th round of the third map.
You've got to feel sorry for Astralis again in the semi-finals, winning so many rounds, finally getting themselves back from a horrible deficit on their Cobblestone first half performance, but just missed out at the end. The pause comes in, and from there on in, it was just all NIP.
Yeah, that is crazy that a team can take a pause and make it that worthwhile to make the adjustment. I mean, you have to wonder how much it was Astralis defeating themselves, but there they are, happy-go-lucky NIP, just squeaking by to the finals. I'm just shocked. This is unreal.
What a great match of Counter-Strike. We had some crazy plays. I think Freiburg's four-man is definitely one of them for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Get Right landing that shot through smoke at the end.
Just that 1K alone, yeah.
Absolutely nuts.
I mean, I'm wet.
Brilliant. Thanks for sharing that information. And I'm sure that NIP are as well. They'll be very happy. They now move across to face off against Immortals in the grand finals. Immortals, in all honesty, haven't looked the most stable we've seen them. They have been a bit shaky themselves. Lost out a couple of matches. Haven't looked great. But we do have an interview with Freiburg on the stage, so take it away, Smix.
Freiburg, NIP has reached the grand finals of a tournament for the second time this year, and you have done so, both times on Swedish soil. That must feel even more special.
I mean, it's our home soil, so we gotta perform better when we're playing here. But I think, listen to the crowd. It's amazing. I mean, it's always fun playing here at DreamHack. I mean, we really feel comfortable playing here, so I think we can really step up and play our best game when we're playing here in Jönköping.
Well, speaking of this particular series against Astralis, after trading Cash and Overpass and knowing Cobblestone was the third map, prior to that map, were you confident headed into that, knowing that it's a map Astralis rarely play?
We know that we have played them like once before on Cobblestone. They recently started playing it with Kirby, so I think we didn't really know what we were going to expect. We knew that they had some of our strats which they used against us, but otherwise we just kept playing like our game. They had like a really big win streak with like 10 rounds in a row or something like that. So it was a bit sloppy from us in the end of CT, and they had a really good start. But it was the magical timeout, I guess. We just took the timeout. We made each other calm. Just talked about what we're gonna do. So I think we just like played slow together and as a team, and that's why we won this game.
And speaking of, again, of Astralis, this is a team that you guys have played multiple times, both on LAN and online, just undefeated against them. What do you think it is about playing against them that you guys just seem to never lose?
I mean, I think we have a big mental advantage against them. They can't beat us. It's as simple as that. I mean, last time they beat us was like, I can't be 100% sure, but I think it was like last summer or something like that. And I mean, they even tried to change players to win against us, but it doesn't seem to work, so yeah.
Well, now you guys are in the grand finals. You'll be facing a revitalized-looking Immortals. So what are your thoughts on that Brazilian team and your chances of becoming champion here in DreamHack Summer?
They're a very strong individual team, which has like more recently had a rough time from what I've known. They were very, very strong in the beginning of this year, but they're definitely a team to keep an eye out for. We're gonna just try to play our game and don't let them get the momentum in the games and yeah, play slow.
All right, well, congratulations again, Freiburg. And with that, NIP will be moving on to the grand finals where they'll be facing the Immortals.
NIP have done it again, and again, it is on Swedish soil. A spectacular victory for NIP, and of course, Astralis pushing them all the way. It wasn't necessarily how the desk did see it. The green room was a roller coaster of emotions for everyone involved, as Astralis, once again, do what Astralis do best. They give us an incredible game to watch and behold, and then you started saying things. You said the CH, the O, the K, and the E word. It scared me, and it happened. Talk to me, Robin. Talk to me. We have to start with Cobblestone because that's so fresh in our minds, and we did just witness Astralis throw away.
To be fair, it was
quite the lead.
Yeah, I mean it's a massive shame. They Astralis were being smart with their timeout in the beginning there as well. I think it was 7-0 down, getting that timeout, losing that round, and then finally starting picking up rounds. 8-7.5, and then just continue on that trend. 13-8, and then NIP's timeout there. And after that, I can only imagine the talk that was going through Astralis' mind there. It's like, well, okay, what can they possibly do here? We are just shutting them down, and obviously the answer there was go B. And there were moments like, it's very hard to call choke because they were playing great. I mean, Kirby last map was just
absolutely insane.
Yeah, absolutely insane. Device all around throughout the series. I think that he played really well. But there were moments where you can see the Astralis getting a little bit nervous. Instead of rather pushing on flashes, they decided to just fall back and not take advantage of the utilities that they have. Missed sprays as well. Yeah, it's just very difficult, and obviously, like, NIP is going to take advantage of that. They did a great job there, and right after timeout, it was looking to be an Astralis victory. Even actually on cash, I'd say they had moments there as well, but then NIP just a stronger team here.
Just a stronger team. I think something that Freiberg said in the interview I'd like to bring up is that he said I think we've got an incredibly stronger mental edge. It's definitely, in my books, I'd like to know your thoughts. It's clear that Astralis believe some of this kind of choking and some of this semi-final
absolutely. Well, you said it's better to laugh than cry, right? And I think that's kind of the mentality that Astralis have going into this kind of matchup, not just semi-finals, but playing versus NIP. Because you could tell, like, after, I think it was from 13-8, actually, from the point they took a timeout, NIP I never really went anywhere near A. And at a certain point, you have to realize that if you're Astralis, you have to be able to take advantage of it at some point. Sure, they're going to set up, I guess, a perimeter defense if you're NIP and actually watch for backsteps and whatnot. Something, by the way, that Astralis didn't do on their T side. Yeah. But you have to take risks and and potentially reap the rewards of that when you're in a situation where nothing is going right for you. Because if you can't stop, a single B rush out of 11 attempts, then something's going wrong.
So, I mean, what would be a solution to that? You guys had the external perspective. You got to see how that was executed. You got to see what NIP was seeing. What's your call if you're on Astralis comms? How do you qualm a 11-round B hit?
I mean, they did have they were smart enough with their buy, so obviously they had enough rounds to save, and the rounds that they ended up losing at the end, they had all the utility. Problem there is that they were so far pushed back. So I think it was the second to last round where Exist basically just walks into the bomb site and no one is there to stop him. And that really shouldn't happen, because when you're that tightly lit and you're so sandwiched, then, and Getra was taking advantage of that. He was always in drop zone, just causing havoc, waiting for that one flashbang, getting that kill that was holding there, and then you have the whole bomb site. You need to try and stop that a little bit. And like I said, you have the utility. Just don't fall back all the way towards that bomb site. At least try to hold some angles, so at least you gain that information towards your teammates, because they had nothing. Exist came out towards that bomb site, just shot people in the back. How can that possibly happen?
Yeah, definitely some loopholes in that Cobblestone performance. But let's have a look at the stats overall, see who did deliver on all fronts. Now, player, you guys were talking about an awful lot, and oh wow, the stats do back it up. You were talking about dupreeh, especially on overpass. Overpass? That's totally not right. Yeah, over on overpass, were talking a lot about dupreeh and his efficiency and getting behind the NIP side. I'd like to just a couple of words behind that.
Well, obviously, dupreeh was a big part of why Astralis managed to close that overpass. They even won around where they just invested, what was it, a PT-50 and a deagle, and it all started off of a one shot from dupreeh, moving up short. He just played amazingly pretty much all game on that map, and I think they were kind of surprised by how, well, not necessarily surprised, but they were taken a bit aback by how much of a fight Nip put up on that map. Because that definitely could have gotten out of hand. You saw a very different Astralis on overpass, especially on CT side. Normally you'd see them tuckered away back, way back in the side, holding crossfires, which, to their defense, that's been going great for them. No real reason to change it up, but they were trying to play aggressively. We saw, as you mentioned, dupreeh was really good at getting behind people. He had just, holding W in the entire time from spawn, just not expecting to meet any NIP players, and it worked out for the better part of that CT half.
So, you know, we saw statistically Kirby has been present and has delivered. You've had an opportunity to see a full best-of-3 versus a T1 team with Kirby in the Astralis roster. Does this look do things look bright? Does the future look bright for Astralis?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I mean, we can base it off of, so yes, the three people that you expect to show up from Astralis did show up. You had Dupree, Device, and Kirby. They all showed up. They played great overall. Their whole team played great. You saw in Overpass, actually, the tendency there, the call that we were talking about before, that Kerrigan will let Kirby do whatever he wants. He actually did die a lot on that T side first and in Overpass, getting losing a lot of entries, just getting caught off guard. That actually came to a halt a little bit there. I mean, on Cobblestone, he was their best player.
Yeah, and I guess you know, on Overpass, you have the risk and reward in it, because on CT side he was also one of the more aggressive players, and that, you know, they got a ton in return for that. So I guess, you know, it needs some fine tuning. Obviously, they're still a very fresh 5, so. Yeah, the future is definitely bright for that team. I think everybody can see that Kirby belongs at this level.
And we can also see that they put some work into Cobble. I mean, how long ago was Cobble there in Instaban?
It's been that pretty much since forever. The last time I remember them playing a really good Cobble game was back in Fragbite Masters, when it was still one of their Instabans, but they kind of let it through versus, I think, well, NIP, and managed to win 16, or Fnatic, I think. No, Fnatic it was, and won 16-4 or something ridiculous. But still, they never really felt confident on it. Definitely showed that they could play the map now.
That's due to the introduction of Nuke into the map pool. They've had to make this transition into Cobblestone. But this does leave us with a grand final. Let's have a look at that group just to get your head around how we got here. It was Godsent versus Immortals, and that was actually a spectacular semi-final as well. We've been treated to 2 great best-of-3s to start this day off, and we're going to be ending it with nothing more than excellence. Immortals versus NIP. Now, Immortals are going to have to step up their game. We'll be talking all about that in a bit. Anything to add to our, NIP reflection, Astralis versus NIP? We haven't talked too much about Cash. Was there anything that drew your eye in particular there? I know it feels like so long ago.
To me, it was kind of what we expected in many ways. NIP were always going to win that map. But
that's true. You did say that.
Yeah, so nothing really out of the ordinary. NIP played very similar to how they always do on that map. And that was all it took.
Maybe someone wants to start taking Cash away from NIP. I know that's a bit of a tendency. We'll be talking about the veto and more, though, when we do come back for this game. We're going to be back at, well, 6:35, so in about 35 minutes' time. You've got time to check out an app called the Score Esports application. It's available on your smartphone on iOS and Google Play, so basically any smartphone in existence. Grab it and go ahead and download it. It gives you updates with all of CSGO, LoL, and even Dota is available on that one. So you go have a look at the application. We're going to take a break. But in 35 minutes' time, the grand final does begin of the DreamHack ZOWIE Open. We'll be looking forward to seeing what the Ninjas can do versus Immortals. It certainly would be a little step towards redemption after Immortals, a very exciting prospect from South America, have turned up in a big way despite some inconsistencies. NIP do look fiery though, as did the stage, as you can see there on screen. Astralis go down in the semi-finals yet again, and NIP will see a Swedish crowd in the grand final alongside Immortals. Stay tuned guys, we'll see you in 30.